We just burned quite literally like 5 cold opens.
We could have done almost a whole cold open episode with the number of cold opens. We just chatting.
Granted, at least 2 of them, I think, were not fit for public consumption.
Look, I don't want to ever hear about your feet again.
That's what I just said. Don't talk about.
Look, I could have been talking. You could have been talking about something else. The foot thing could have been a joke, but now it's out there.
We have failed to follow my dictate from some months ago of, hey, we should start recording the second we get on a call because we always have multiple cold open type conversations before we capture any of them.
Look, these things happen.
Yeah.
So something magical happened this morning for me, Brad.
Oh, I like
Windows
magic.
popped up and said, hey, we tried to update last night, but we couldn't. Do you want to update now? And then I went to Google, or I actually went to DuckDuckGo, and I typed in the KB number for the cumulative update, because in the Windows update thing, it doesn't tell you what's actually in the update anymore, which is like maybe the 17th most annoying thing about Windows today. But I clicked it, I typed it in, I searched, I found it. It said something magical.
Yes.
When you connect a secondary monitor to your computer, the time and date will be displayed on the taskbar of the secondary monitors.
Oh, wait. And you're excited about this?
Oh, my God. Okay. So my main monitor is one that I play games on. So when I'm playing games, I don't have any way to tell the time in my office.
Okay. I was just like raring to go on a screed about why would you burn real estate on your second monitor with more taskbar when you already have a taskbar, but you just gave me a very good functional reason why you would do that. So I'm backing off.
It's a 4K display. My main gaming monitor is a 1080p display, and it's like 50 pixels in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. So
fine.
So I'm very excited. It's there. It seems to be accurate so far.
So telling the same time as the one on the other monitor?
Both monitors are telling the same time, and it's synchronized with my phone. So I feel pretty confident.
Great.
And I know that it's March 3rd also. So I got that going for me.
Great. Well, hey, everybody's getting what they want.
I also I made a mistake today too.
Oh, well, hey, look, you win some, you lose some.
So remember the stickers? We talked about the bad stickers from like the bad not licensed stickers that I was buying from the internet to give to kids a few months ago.
Yes.
To my daughter's friends. I'm not just going to rant, hey kid, you want a sticker?
You're not wearing a trench coat in this scenario, are you?
Nor do I drive a van.
You're not hanging out on the other side of the fence at the school playground?
No, but so I'm going to get my laptop out so I can show you what I've done.
Okay. Oh, crap. Now I have to fill. Normally Will is the one in the position to fill dead air. Please come back. Talk.
I'm back. Okay. So I got a really sweet sticker of Bart Simpson dabbing.
That is extremely not licensed, correct?
It is 100% because he's also wearing like a camouflage hoodie and some licensed sneakers that are also not licensed, I'm sure.
Better that he's dabbing than peeing, at least?
Look, it's a 6 of 1. So
are there peeing Barts or just peeing Calvins?
I think Calvin is traditionally the one who pees.
Yeah, yes. You're quite right about that.
So the thing is, I put a friend of mine's Scully on here. Mike Mitchell is an artist who I like his work. And he's like, the Scully's falling. But I forgot that when I put the Scully on, he looks like he's tumbling. So now Bart Simpson is dabbing upside down when the laptop is facing right side up. And it took something that was very stupid and made it bad. So I'm going to have to peel the Bart Simpson dabbing sticker off, I think. And I'm pretty upset by this because I'll never be able to find another one of those. It's a once in a lifetime find.
Like if history has taught us anything, there are more Barts where that came from.
Look, I bought the same set of stickers 4 times trying to get the one of Tom Nook smoking a joint that I got in one of the ones that we got for my daughter last year. And I haven't been able to find one in all of the packs. So
in my mental image, he is also wearing a tropical Hawaiian shirt with cannabis leaves all over it.
Like the Nook leaves are all weed leaves instead of Nook leaves.
Okay, now I need this too. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Welcome to Brad and Will Made a Tech Pod. I'm Will.
I'm Brad. Hello.
Hello. Do you know what time it is, Brad?
What time is it?
It's the most magical time of next month.
It's the most wonderful time of next month.
Yeah. So last week we had an opportunity to have our friends Wes Van Lin and Norman Chan on to talk about the upcoming Steam Deck. By the way, if you if you have
Coming. I think it's out, right?
well, okay, it was upcoming at the time.
Yes. Okay. Sorry.
But if you have a Q1 Steam Deck order, I would strongly encourage you to just cancel that thing.
Wow. Why do you say that?
Well, because I have a Q2 Steam Deck order, and I figure if enough people cancel in front of me, I'll get a Q1 Steam Deck order.
Oh, I thought I was taking you at your word and assumed that you had found some reason since these things have shipped to maybe not recommend them anymore.
Yeah, because they're in front of me in the line.
Oh boy, did you see? Gosh, there's both. Well, we have an episode to do. I shouldn't digress too much, but two things: the Gabe Newell as Santa Claus bit.
He's done that before.
Has he?
Yeah, he did that with indexes, I think.
Okay, something I don't know. Something about doing it with the Steam Deck though. Like that is such a coveted item.
I mean, indexes were pretty desired when they came out too.
Also, the index is like what 2 to 3 times the cost of a deck.
Yeah, I mean, the index was $1,000, I think.
Right.
Is the like starter package?
That is roughly 2.5 Steam Decks.
Twice. Yeah. I mean, it feels like people pre-ordered the $500 Steam Deck, but maybe they made a mistake. Like I pre-ordered the mid-range one, or I didn't pre-order. I put my $5 down, and I feel like maybe I made a mistake on that.
Also, maybe those guys didn't know about this at the time we talked to them, which was a few days before release, but they put out a freaking new Portal game alongside that thing, which,
Yeah, you can play it on a gamepad.
Yeah, I was thinking about just committing a crime and downloading it and playing it not on a Steam Deck.
What? I got to say, the hand lab thing that they made for the index was one of the like it was the thing that when they build something that's custom for a new piece of hardware, it usually does a pretty good job of showcasing what you can actually do with the hardware.
Oh yeah,
it's like usually well done.
I didn't know they did more lab for the index. Did they bolt that onto the lab, the original release, or was that a separate download?
So the hand lab is a separate thing, and it's mostly finger stuff because it has the finger tracking with the grippy. Yeah,
I didn't know if they like patched that into the lab or if,
I can't. I think it's its own thing. I can't remember. I can look real quick.
I have fond memories of the lab.
The lab is great.
Like that, the personality sphere catapult minigame thing. Top shelf. Yeah. Fantastic stuff.
So the lab and Aperture Hand Lab are two separate products.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Aperture Hand Lab. I don't remember. I just remember liking. Oh, the Aperture Hand Lab has like this moon thing. There's like like you're controlling a car on the moon or something. It's pretty good, I would say.
Yeah, much like most of Valve's products. Pretty good.
Yeah, it turns out they're good at making video games over there.
Yeah. Steam Deck in stores now. No, it's not.
Well, asterisk.
Yes. But you know what are in stores?
This is an incredibly long roundabout way of me saying, hey, last week we were supposed to do a Q&A episode where we turned questions into answers, but we didn't because Norman West came on to talk about the Steam Deck, which was timely.
Yes.
This week, the first week of March, which I can't believe is already upon us, we're going to talk about questions and we're going to make them into answers.
That's right. The Steam Deck was timely, but questions are eternal.
It's so true. So true.
Questions exist in all frames. Welcome to the question store.
So for people who have questions, they can send them in via electronic mail or email.
Yes.
To techpod@content.town.
I have a question.
Yes.
I shouldn't say this out loud. Did you
not look at the email at all?
Did you check the inbox?
I check it occasionally.
Did you check it before this episode?
I'm going to tell you a secret about the inbox. Mostly, it's like 90% people soliciting us to run mattress ads on the podcast.
Yes, it is. Or offering some kind of like market research or analytics service to us.
Yep. There's one like newsletter that we get that's about weird mathematical facts that I quite enjoy. It's like mathematician stuff, but it's like we're not going to put it on the podcast because this isn't a math podcast.
But it could be.
And we do have a question from Steve Smith right here that came in 8 days ago. He says, hey, Brad and Will, I grew up an avid PC gamer in the early 90s and early 2000s playing mostly FPS titles like Doom, Wolfenstein, Quake, etc. I also enjoy some Diablo 3 and Cities Skylines, but I have yet to resort to playing these on my 2017 iMac, my work machine, as I don't have a PC anymore. Oh, I have to resort to playing these. I've owned a few consoles over the year, but nothing more recent than a PS3, which is now basically just a Blu-ray player. I'm being asked if I want to join in with some friends who play Fortnite. So I am wondering if I should look into a console. Sadly, the budget won't stretch to current gen, and I would be looking for something used. I'm looking at either a PS4 or the Xbox One X 1 terabyte model, which seems to be about affordable secondhand. I also like the idea of keeping the Blu-ray capability, and at least future-proofing a little bit with 4K would be nice. That being said, a Switch isn't a heck of a lot more, and I wonder if I might get more use out of it when my nearly 3-year-old daughter is a little older. Yeah. This is Steve from the UK.
Congratulations to Steve. Apparently, if you're the only person who sends a question to the email address, you get it read on the show.
Guaranteed. We got a couple more, but that was the good one.
Yeah.
I would say the Switch is probably the right thing to get, but playing Fortnite on the Switch isn't great in my experience.
Okay, I have not tried it, but I would not be surprised to hear it's not a great experience. Like, I would have said a year ago the Switch was definitely a good buy. At this point, like, that thing is showing its age.
There's a lot of really good indie games on the Switch, though.
You're not wrong. There's a ton of stuff that is still, that runs just fine. But like the public narrative about the Switch has really turned in the last year and change in terms of it being like way overdue for an update.
Honestly, if you could buy a Steam Deck, I might have recommended, hey, just get a Steam Deck.
Yeah, that's not the worst. I bet Fortnite runs really well on a Steam Deck.
No, it doesn't at all unless you install Windows, is my understanding.
I mean, yes, you have to, obviously, you're not going to get it on Steam. But I mean, like in terms of the hardware in there.
Yeah.
Whatever that APU is in there, I bet, because Fortnite is not that demanding.
I think if I were buying a used console from the last generation, I'd look for a 1S probably.
Really?
Yeah, because he said he wanted 4K discs, which means 1S or PS4.
Yes. Well, 1X will do. 1X does. 1X does UHD.
I think for what a 1X costs, you can probably get a Series S.
Oh, you might be right.
But there's no disc in the Series S.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one with availability being what it is right now and like used prices being so high. That's actually a hard question to answer.
Well, the Series S is what, $300 new?
Yes.
That's a pretty good deal.
No, that's great. It's just in this case, it sounds like not the lack of a disk drive is disqualifier for him.
Yeah.
I'd say 1X or PS4 Pro if you can get them cheap enough. Either one is fine. I'd probably lean PS4 Pro for the exclusives there.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
If I had to choose.
Like 1S's are selling on eBay, which is probably not the right place to look for $250. Like they're not. Oh, no, that's a Series S. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
A 1S is selling for $120.
Oh, that's not so bad.
That's the right.
So what is a 1X or a PS4 Pro?
Well, I mean, I'll look.
Why would I type those in when I can just ask?
I mean, look, I'm already there. A Xbox One X black 1 terabyte. Oh, that's the one he's talking about. The 1 terabyte version. It's $280. Buy it now, used. That's like for $10 more, I would buy a Series S and not have a disc.
Yeah, if you can live without the Blu-ray drive, that's a tough sell to go 1X, I think, over Series S.
Yeah, the S is going to give you it's going to be quieter one.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, the 1X is very quiet, to be clear.
I never had a 1X. I didn't pony up for one.
The 1X was the first one they put out where they were like, we know. No, I take that back. The launch Xbox One is very quiet as well.
No, it isn't. No, because the launch Xbox One has a big giant power brick that sits underneath the thing that makes a shitload of noise.
Okay, I never sat close enough to hear that.
Yeah.
But yeah, consoles.
Yeah, old consoles especially.
How about a question from Wildfire?
Okay.
Just going straight to just starting with the showstopper here.
Serious questions here.
These are all from the Discord. Wildfire asks, if you're eating a meal, say a piece of chicken, and you get some stuck in your teeth, I'm so confused by this question. Do you eat that piece that was stuck?
Well, yeah, of course. It goes straight. You swallow. You get tongue it out, and then you swallow it without thinking about it.
Like I think, like even referring to it as a separate piece and not just like a vestige of the original piece of chicken. Like I don't understand the distinction. Follow-up question: if you find a piece of chicken stuck in your teeth 2 to 3 hours later, do you still eat it? This is gross.
I don't know that I want to answer this question anymore.
Okay,
I'm embarrassed by my answer, Brad.
Yes, the answer is yes.
Yeah, it goes straight down the hatch.
Absent-mindedly, just like I didn't know there was another course of action there.
It's gross to think about when you put it this way, but
yes, I don't disagree.
But also the alternative, like, what am I going to do? Spit it out? No,
yeah, right. Like maybe if you're in a like toothpick and napkin kind of situation, you could like discreetly dispose of it. But like,
how often do you find yourself in a toothpick and napkin situation these days?
The thing is, it's already been in your mouth for the entire duration. Like,
Yeah.
what are you solving by getting rid of it at that point? Like your mouth is already contaminated by whatever it is we're worried about here.
It's one continuous chew at that point, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes. It's just been you've been chemically breaking it down.
Like normally on these kinds of questions, I try to devil's advocate this, but I can't come up with a reason. Like if I'm sitting at my desk, I've been working all morning, and I'm like, there's a little bit of English muffin in the pit there. I mean,
now this is getting mouth.
Get that out.
Mouth
I'm not gonna get up and walk into the kitchen and spit it into the sink.
Mouth sounds are where I draw the line. We've made our positions clear.
Look, this is Wildfire's fault. They brought this on us.
I suppose that's true. Okay, how about Parallax 55? Here's an actual question. I mean, the last one was a question too, but this one is less gross. When it comes to repairing or replacing large ticket items, what is your break-even point? For instance, if you have a washing machine that will require a repair that costs 50% of a new machine, you consider getting a new one, understanding that the old machine will probably begin to have more and more problems as it continues to age.
Ooh, this is a good question.
This is a tough one. This is a heady, you know how I feel about replacing things that are still performing their function.
Well, okay, so there's a bunch of it's more complicated than Parallax 55 is making this out to be, at least for me. Because there's for example, when my hot water heater died, we had a 10-year-old one. 10 years is pretty much the outer limit on hot water heaters, right? If you make it to 15 years on the hot water heater, you've done pretty well, especially if you're dealing with gas. But the problem with the hot water heater is the cost of buying the hot water heater is usually about the same as the cost of installing the hot water heater. And there's the pain in the ass of not having hot water during the time when it's broken before you get the new one in, which is usually in the Bay Area, like 7 to 10 days.
Uh-huh.
Not having hot water for 7 days, it turns out pretty substantial life impact.
Oh, for sure. Yes.
So the first time the hot water heater conked out, I replaced it with a new one, and it cost $1,500, $3,000, something like that all in. The second time, when that hot water heater turned out to be a dud, and I had to call Whirlpool or whoever made it, I think it was Whirlpool and Maytag, and complain for weeks on end to get them to actually do a warranty repair on what was clearly a manufacturing defect. They had run a wire under the heating element so that the wire shorted out, like the insulation eventually burned off the wire and it shorted out and it prevented the thermostat from tripping and ever turning on. I should have, the amount of time I spent on that, I should have just bought a new one and had it installed. But it became kind of a thing in my head. At
that point, you are pursuing that repair on principle.
Yes.
They have wronged you at that point.
Now, the other thing is like a dishwasher is a good example of this, right? Like if replacing it is going to be a net savings in terms of like water or energy use or something like that, that's an easy, like if you have a 20-year-old dishwasher and it conks out, you should take that thing to the dump, huck it off into just get rid of it, give it to the scrap metal people, because the new one is going to use a lot less electricity and a lot less water and probably not even hot water, and it'll do a lot better. Also, fixing dishwashers is maybe the worst thing I've ever successfully done.
Yes.
Like they're awful to work on.
Yeah. We've been over that. Incidentally, we still don't have a working dishwasher in this apartment.
You should not be paying rent until you actually, at this point, what you should do is go and buy a dishwasher, have it installed, and then just take that off of your next month's rent.
It's tempting.
But no one is going to fault you for that, except for your landlord, who you have to continue dealing with. And there's other complications.
That's the thing. What if, maybe a rent increase occurs somewhere a few months down the line if I were to do something like that.
Then you take your dishwasher with you. But I mean, the thing is, he's like, if you're paying for water and electricity, or they're paying for water and electricity, then like putting a new dishwasher in will be a break even sooner rather than later, as old as your dishwasher is.
They're paying he pays water. He does not. My God, I wish he paid electricity around here.
If you paid electricity, you'd be running a server farm in there, mining Bitcoin.
Everything stays on 24/7.
Yeah. Brad's got air conditioning and 15 racks of Bitcoin miners in the office.
Does it really take that long to get a new hot water heater? So, like, speaking of my landlord,
it takes a long time to install because you got to get gas. Like, it has to be a gas plumber if you have a gas hot water heater, and they're in high demand usually here.
So 2 winters ago, maybe 3 winters ago, in this building, I mean, he is like he's not the worst landlord I've ever had, but can be a bit crotchety about fixing things on occasion. I was the one in this building. There's like 5-6 units in this building. I was the one in the building to discover that the hot water heater had died in the middle of December.
It always dies in the summer, in the winter. It never dies in the summer. By
getting in the shower and it being ice freaking cold.
Oh my God.
But this was like kind of mid-morning. He had a new hot water heater installed and like working by that evening.
But it's like this is a building scale hot water heater, right?
Oh, is that like a commercial thing where just like commercial solutions are just available kind of at the drop of the hat?
You're paying commercial prices, you get commercial service.
I see.
When you go to Lowe's and you're like, hey, I want a hot water heater. And they're like, well, we'll schedule you in. When can you get it done? You can pay rush and get it in 10 days or otherwise it'll be the end of the month. It's not great.
You know what? I've never had the opportunity to buy my own hot water heater. And I'm very jealous.
I'm going to go. No, I'm going to tell you this in a world where theoretically you think this sounds fun. Like I went into the hot water heater purchase. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna get one of those demand hot water heaters. It's gonna be great. And I talked to the guy and he was like, look, you're gonna have to replumb the vent for the hot water heater if you do that, because they have to be rated for higher temperatures than the normal ones and all this other stuff. And I was like, okay, just look, I want one that's big enough I never have to run out of hot water again. He's like, how big is your house? 1,000 square feet. Okay, you need like a 400 gallon. I was like, okay, I want an 800 gallon one. So, or 80, whatever it is. We got double what they said to get. America.
Hey, that's a lot of hot water. I mean, counterpoint, do you know how many hot water heaters I could buy with the money that I have poured down the drain in rent over the last 2 decades?
I'm going to look, there are pros and cons to this. The pro is that when your hot water heater died, you called somebody who was like, hey, I need a hot water heater. And since he lives in the same building as you, he was enthusiastic about fixing the problem.
That was the point that I forgot to make, is that yes, because he also relies on that hot water. Yeah. Boy, did he have that thing replaced quickly.
Yeah. If you guys were sharing a dishwasher, you would have had it fixed months ago.
Yes, for sure. Seems like a good time to read this question. It's a segue.
Ooh, I like a nice segue.
From Chip Shirley. What's it like being a mildly public figure and having people online discuss your life, interests, relationships, etc.? How do you deal with it?
I try not to think about it too much.
I deal with it by not dealing with it. Like it's awful. It's the word. And I don't want to sit here and complain about like we are very fortunate that anyone wants to listen to what we have to say. To be clear, but
yeah, like just to be clear, like I don't ever mind. Like if I'm in a situation where I know I'm going to be someplace that I'm like recognizable. Like, the nice thing about our level of notoriety, I guess, is that. Like I can go to the grocery store and nobody recognizes me,
I'm not.
Right?
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. And in fact, like I've run into people on the bus, not that many times. Not like I get recognized all the time, but like the handful of times over the years that it's happened, like the people who would introduce themselves are the nicest people. Like I have no problem with that. Specifically, what he is asking though is having people. I'm going to read again from the question. Having people online discuss your life, interests, relationships, etc. Like that's a different phenomenon entirely.
Yeah,
that's the one. The reason I bring this up about the apartment is like I've come across discussions before. Here's a very benign example that's still completely bizarre. Like you'll see things like I've seen people say like, oh, Brad's never going to move out of the San Francisco apartment. Like he's got rent control and fiber there. Why would he ever leave? I super do not have rent control.
Yeah, no.
Like our rent has nearly doubled in the last, I think since it was when the market rebounded. It was around the time the real estate market started really rebounding in 2013, 2014. Like our rent is almost double what it was then. Like I super don't have rent control. Just like seeing people with absolute certainty proclaim things about you that are completely untrue is just the strangest experience.
The good example of this being weird is always like, then this happened to you guys at Giant Bomb too, but like the oh my God, Will is so pissed off at Norm, or Norm is so pissed off at Will. Like the YouTube comments about us being pissed off at each other, secretly hating each other, were hilarious because, like, I mean, look, everybody has days at work that are hard days, and everybody has easy days. And sometimes you come in and you like didn't sleep very much the last night because you had a brand new baby or something, and you're like. Do I want to be sitting on camera talking about a fucking phone for the next hour and a half? No, but it's my job and I'm here to do it. I'm going to do a good job. But like, you know, like there's some of that bleeds in and people assume people who want I guess, more drama in their lives for some reason, assume that means that everybody's pissed off at each other all the time.
Yeah, those were the weird ones for me, for sure. It's like, have you ever had coworkers? You know how this works? Like sometimes you get irked by your coworkers, right? Like
I really like all the people. Like I've never really worked with people I didn't like. But like, you know, I guess there's always exceptions, but like, even if you don't particularly like somebody, you still like are able to work with them in a professional context.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. That's all. I always thought that was really weird.
Yes. There's a lot of that stuff. Anyway, whatever. It's a very minor aspect of, you know, like we are in a pretty privileged position, all told, I think.
Yeah. The other thing is I try not to talk about, like I talk about my partner, but that's just because we've been talking about her for a long time, and I try not to talk about my daughter and stuff like that anymore.
Yes. Yeah. I try to, I try to protect the privacy of all the people in my personal life because it's their privacy, not mine. Right.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. It's like, they didn't choose this life. Like I'm not going to drag them into the public eye in any fashion because they didn't ask for that.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see here. How about, I got to get better at picking questions while I'm also talking.
I got one.
Okay, go ahead.
Am I overstepping?
No, go ahead.
Am I breaking protocol?
No, absolutely
now
not.
I bought you some time. You could have had one by now.
I've got like 3 now, actually, but go ahead.
Okay, we'll go.
Okay. Bone Tail.
Brad hates Will. He's so pissed off at him.
You've written in all red here. Do you know the answer to this?
Yeah.
Why do some things get installed in program files and some other things get installed in program files x86? And what's the difference anyway? I don't like having to remember what's in which.
So I went and did some okay. There's the answer that they gave us when they started making 64-bit Windows, which I guess was like Longhorn time or Vista time, I guess.
I think, gosh,
there was an x64 version of Windows XP, but it wasn't particularly compatible with things.
It was hard to get your hands on. I think Vista was the first one that shipped with 64-bit in the box.
Yeah, you could choose whether you installed 64-bit or 32-bit with Vista, certain versions of Vista. Anyway, so the official answer from back then is we want people to be able to install the 32 and 64-bit versions of applications on the same computer. So the 64-bit stuff gets installed to program files. The 32-bit gets installed to program files x86. Now, over the last 10 years, that has all gone completely out the window because there's a horrible mishmash of like your Steam folder, for example, lives in program files x86 because Steam is a 32-bit app. But also it contains a whole shitload, probably the highest density of 64-bit apps on your computer because most video games in 2022 are 64-bit apps. So, and also nobody is running both the 32-bit and 64-bit version of Photoshop or their browser or like, I literally think this is because of browser plugins. Because at that time period, you had to install, if you installed the 64-bit version of the browser, you didn't have any plugins because nobody had compiled Flash in 64-bit. Literally something that doesn't matter at all anymore since all of the browser extensions are just rendered in the browser. So yeah, that's my understanding. The official Microsoft answer as of 2021, which was an answers.microsoft.com post I found, said just let the installer install it where you want. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yes. That's kind of my general answer for stuff like this at this point. He said, or they say, and I don't like having to remember what's in which. Like I don't really do that at this point. I pretty much just install everything to default locations at this point and just forget about it.
Embrace the defaults, except for portable apps. You've got me on the portable app train. I have a folder in my documents folder that's called portable apps.
Hell yeah. See, the next time you install a fresh copy of Windows, you just copy that folder over whole hog and you're good to go.
My Notepad++ install will be right there.
Yeah. I'd pretty much treat the C drive in Windows like not hands off in a way like I can't touch it, but like I don't touch it, you know? Any actual file storage, like files that I'm manipulating frequently, go on a different drive at this point.
Oh, see, I use my documents folder or
well, yeah, home folder is the exception there because like, you know, files on your desktop are there and that sort of thing. Like, well, I guess what I mean is at the root. Like I'm not making directories at the root of C anymore and doing anything with them.
Oh God, no, don't work on the root of C ever.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
In fact, I get annoyed when like NVIDIA drivers used to unzip to the root of C. They don't do that anymore, but
sure. I did have to put one of the Nersoft utilities at the root there because of the way I was doing some, it's not worth getting into. Some automation needed. Yeah.
That's a no.
It was running, I forget there was a permissions issue. Like I couldn't run it out of my home folder, which I normally would have otherwise done with portable apps. You have You you look lost right now. What is going on here?
Well, I was thinking about why I don't write anything on the root of the C drive anymore. And I think it's just because the general, like I keep stuff that's like temporary in documents. I keep stuff for work in my work OneDrive folder. And then I keep stuff for like TechPod and Twitch and all the other stuff in my Dropbox folder. So I try not to use anything that I'm going to want to keep long term in a place that it doesn't automatically end up on some cloud storage thing someplace. Which it's like it served me pretty well, because when I had to reinstall or whatever, like I just reconnect to the appropriate services and things just work.
Oh God, you just made me realize that my Windows system drive is a single point of failure.
Look, but you back up that machine, so you're fine.
No, I don't.
What?
I probably should.
You should back that up to the NAS. Why are you not backing that up?
I probably should.
Oh, sweet mother, Brad.
I probably should. I've thought about going all the way and moving all of my desktop, my home, basically my entire home folder in Windows to the NAS, but that
don't do that.
Seems like asking for trouble.
So I did a lot of experiments with this at Maximum PC, because I tried to get it for years to get the shared login thing to work outside of an Active Directory domain. It's a complete train wreck for people who do things that aren't like business applications, because like games expect to be able to write at certain speeds and stuff like that. It's not like you have the high speed connection. I guarantee you'll have weird shit happen when a game tries to save at some point.
I don't mean the whole system drive. I just mean like basically my home folder, just like files, just.
But you mean like C:user / your username?
Yeah, there shouldn't be any games running out of there.
There's a ton of stuff, because your app data folder lives in there.
Oh, you're talking about save games and stuff? Like
yeah, app data lives in there. Your temp folder lives in there. All that. Don't do that. It's a bad idea.
Okay. Or I didn't actually mean it strictly in that sense. Like I would piecemeal put like desktop documents, like you name it, like
it's
the file containing home folder directories.
The number of bad applications that hard code that stuff in, you will find. Like I did Symlinks, I did the whole thing. That's
a reason I've never done it. The other reason is if my NAS is off or under maintenance or something for some reason, like not being able to use my PC at all would really suck.
Yeah. Well, you have to have a second profile that has a different login that doesn't. You're just getting into like a cascading failure points. It's bad.
I should just figure out how to back this thing up occasionally.
Just put rsync on it.
I'll think about it.
There are options.
Yes. Okay. Sketchy reasoning. Since crosswords have been mentioned recently, has Will ever tried a cryptic crossword? I only recently found out they weren't ubiquitous and are maybe a particularly British thing.
Are cryptics are the ones that they don't have the black squares.
Oh, I thought you would know what a cryptic crossword was.
I suddenly, my grandmother used to call them skeletons.
Huh.
But I believe I'm going,
a crossword puzzle in which each clue is a word puzzle.
Yeah, no, this is different. I'm going to have to look at this. I've never seen this before. The ones that I used to do with my grandmother are I think called skeletons. And that's where you just have a 16 by 16 grid with no, like, you don't know how long the words are basically. So you have to figure out the grid based on that. Those were really fun. This is fabulous.
Let's see. According to Wikipedia, a good cryptic clue contains 3 elements: a precise definition, a fair subsidiary indication, 3, nothing else.
Okay. Left British award where earring is hung. 4 letters, I believe.
That's actually according to Jonathan Crowther. I don't know who that is.
He's the Lord of Cryptics.
Perhaps, yes. Perhaps an author of cryptic crosswords. Okay. Is that?
That's all I got there.
That's that. Okay. Quick question from Simply Bagel. Brad, did you ever get around to watching Halt and Catch Fire? If not, might I suggest that could be a future pod like the Hackers and Sneakers episodes? I have suggested we do exactly that like 3 times. The problem is we never seem to find a time when it is on any common streaming service. And you have rightfully pointed out that the best time to do one of those is when everybody can easily watch the thing at the same time.
It's coming to everyone's favorite streaming service, I think now, AMC Plus.
Right. That's right.
It's AMC's premium brand. So if you have AMC through your cable provider, you have to pay more money on top of that to get AMC Plus, I believe.
I can't look. AMC has very fine programming over the years. I cannot believe they think that they rate their own streaming service.
I mean, Walking Dead, Mad Men,
Breaking Bad.
Halt and Catch Fire.
There's probably one or two others.
There's more.
I mean, Breaking Bad is an all-timer to me.
I couldn't watch Breaking Bad.
Are you serious? I mean, it's
too tense.
That first season, I think the first season might be the worst in terms of uncomfortable situations, maybe.
The discomfort of him making willful bad decisions for pride made me I had a hard time finding a character that was like, I don't know.
Oh, it's definitely a downward spiral. Yes. And
I'm from I had to watch a bunch of it for a tested things. Adam interviewed, what's his name for the talking room once. And I had to watch a ton. Like, I don't know. I found it really intolerable to it's a thing I could appreciate the brilliance of and not ever want to engage with at all. I kind of feel the same way about The Wire it's like The Wire. Honestly, I don't even like Weeds. Anytime people are making awful decisions and like continuing to pay the price for them and continue to make awful decisions, I have a hard time with.
Don Draper, not a particularly sympathetic character either.
I really like Mad Men a lot.
I never finished it. We got halfway through it and I liked it quite a bit and then we never finished it.
God, the end of the second to last season and the last season are maybe my all-time favorite season of TV.
Huh. Jeez, that's really saying something.
I did like there's a bit where he's doing one of his pitches and he just decides to be honest and it's spectacular.
Okay.
Brad, I watched the entirety of Star Trek TNG over the last 6 months too.
Wait, did you really?
Yeah.
Dude, what? We should just do the podcast about that.
I will start again tomorrow because I realized about midway through the 5th season that I stopped watching it when I went to college.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Well, okay. Actually, I started to say you've got so many episodes to watch, but then I'd say end of season 5, somewhere in season 6 is when most people think it starts going downhill. So you actually saw most of the good ones.
But the end of season, I went through and watched them all. I thoroughly enjoyed season 6 and 7.
Six has quite a few good ones. 7 has some good ones, but also quite a lot of.
Look, by the end of that run, the big question I have is any technology that is as unreliable and dangerous as the holodeck should just be turned off forever.
That's probably true.
And they should never let cast members sleep with each other or characters sleep with each other on the spaceship. There should be rules about that.
Did that happen?
It was implied.
Wait, when did that? Oh, well, but they were always generally under the kind of mind control or other
but there's also
behavior modulating force.
There's also a lot of unresolved sexual tension between Beverly and Picard. And,
oh, sure.
Yeah.
It's Troy and Riker.
And Worf and Data and everybody.
Okay. We don't have an episode idea for next week. Should we just talk about your favorite Next Generation episodes?
Oh, we could do that.
By the time we need to record that episode,
I can make a list while I'm away this weekend.
People will have let us know whether that is desirable or not.
Yeah. Let us know what you think.
Okay.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I hadn't the last time I really engaged with Trek was when you and Norm and Gary came up with that list 10 years ago.
We did that marathon. Were you there for that?
I was there.
We all piled into Norm's living room and watched 6 or 7 episodes.
10.
Was it really that many?
We might have skipped 1 or 2 of the list, but the list was 10.
Okay. I seem to remember steadily drinking more throughout the afternoon.
I had a relatively new baby, I think, at that time. Okay. And I came in, and by the time I got there 3 episodes in, people were pretty toasty.
Yeah. That was a good time.
It was a good time.
I remember hanging out with people.
I remember going to people's houses.
I really want to watch *Halt and Catch Fire*. Everything I've heard about it makes it sound amazing. It makes it sound extremely for me.
I mean, but I think we should pick a time and watch the first season, and maybe we do it as an arc or something for the time. Yeah, I don't know how we'll handle it, but
it's just a shame because I think it was on Netflix for quite a while, right? Until
it was on Netflix for literally years.
God, that kills me. Yeah. Oh, we should have done that. Okay, anyway, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Paradox. I just left my roughly $1,200 iPad Pro and Apple Pencil 2 on the roof of the car after negotiating the 16-month-old into said car. What's the most expensive tech-related thing you've accidentally physically destroyed? And they included a photo.
The picture's hard to look at.
That iPad is toast.
It's not. I looked like the pencil maybe was okay.
I wonder if the innards are intact and then they could just have the screen replaced, the Genius Bar, perhaps.
I was gonna I
always
cheaper
wonder
than
a new iPad.
I always wonder what the limits of Apple Care are in that situation.
Oh, I don't mean for free. I mean, you probably would pay maybe several $100s, but less than $1,200, I would think.
Do you think you could come in though with like the pieces in a box, in a cardboard box, and be like, "Hey, I think something's wrong with my iPad."
I don't have the picture in front of me. Maybe it's worse than I remember. I would have to pull it back up.
It very definitely looks like it fell off of a moving car.
Yeah. Again, I think the main board, the insides might be okay.
I feel like the iPad, the expensive thing is the screen, probably.
For sure. Yeah, it would definitely not be cheap to replace that screen. That I have to stop looking at that. That's rough.
First off, sorry for your loss. Second, when my daughter was between 2 and 3, she knocked 3 iPhone 6s out of my hands. Each one exploded.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Over how short a time?
About 4 months.
Man, that's rough.
It was really expensive.
Yeah. Huh. Yikes.
The part of the problem was that the 6 had that bad. It was when they first time did the curved bezel on the glass. And I think that made the glasses exceptionally brittle.
Yes.
I didn't have a case on the first time. Maybe I didn't have a case on probably didn't have a good enough case on the second one. By the third one, after the third one, I bought a really stupid, huge, chunky case that like you could huck it across the room in. And then I just couldn't carry my phone in my pocket anymore, which was not great.
Trade-offs. I think they probably have refined, because they still sell, the current SE is still that form factor with the curved glass, but I think they've probably refined what is that? Is that tensile strength?
Well, it's weird. It's like if an impact on the corner would cause it to shatter immediately, and those phones always land on their corners. It turns out. You know what?
The iPhone 6 is the only phone I've ever broken. Actually, that's the only phone I've ever broken a screen on. Now that you mention it,
it didn't feel good.
No.
And I don't know about you, but like I get just like the hives. Like I would put my solution for that is get a piece of packing tape and put it over, or a screen protector if you happen to have a spare. Put it over the screen until you can get in and get it replaced, or get a replacement in. But it just makes me so anxious. I can't even cope.
All right. I haven't destroyed a lot of tech. In college, I managed to get my hands on a 17-inch Trinitron PC monitor. This was in the heyday. Well, maybe not as bad as you're imagining, but this was in the heyday of like Quake 3. Like getting a good monitor was a big deal because PC games were huge at the time.
Something flat was a real treat too.
Moving it out of my dorm at the end of the semester to move home. Somehow I moved it into the kind of the foot area behind the front seat, in the back seat. I caught the screen on like the front seat was leaned forward. So I put a nice fat gouge right in the middle of the glass from the machinery that allows the seat to lean forward and recline.
Oh, that's horrible.
So yes, for the rest of that monitor's lifespan, there was just a big old fat gouge in the glass, which otherwise a very nice monitor, and I just had to live with it.
I had a 36-inch tube TV. It was a standard def TV because if it was a HD, it would have weighed like 300 pounds, but it didn't have handles because it was a Panasonic.
Ooh.
And it was like, it wasn't the heaviest it could have been in that space, in that like that size, but it was unwieldy and heavy, and it had like gently rounded corners on all of the plastic. And when we were moving it out of one of my apartments, a friend of mine was helping me carry it, and we were about to drop it, and we had to set it down, and it tipped over forwards and had a really good scratch right on the glass, right in the middle of the screen. And I just couldn't. I don't know. It made me sad.
Did you keep it?
I kept it until we moved to California. And then I knew that there was no way it was getting up the stairs into the apartment that I rented. We rented it, and I gave it to my sister-in-law, who used it for a couple of years. And then honestly, that thing was a threat. Like it could have killed, like if it fell on you, you would die.
Oh, dude. Yes. Trust me. I have helped move a 36-inch HD Sony Trinitron widescreen, like a 16:9, 36-inch.
Nope, that's a killer.
It took 3 people to move.
Yeah, and like the thing is, they weren't big enough for 3 people to get around and hold effectively. Yep. So that meant one person, whoever was on the screen side, was carrying most of the weight, and the other 2 people were kind of helping a little bit and steering, basically.
Yeah.
Ugh, terrible technology.
Let's whip through a handful of others here real quick.
Yeah. Hey, Luke had a question about you.
I was just literally about to read that one.
Okay.
I still read his username as Luke JP, even though I think that's actually just my Discord client. Yeah, not rendering the flag emoji.
Thanks, Windows.
Need a status check on Brad and his new Notchbook Life.
How's it going, Brad?
That MacBook is incredible. Like, that's a fantastic laptop. It's very nice.
And
the notch continues to be stupid, but I installed Top Notch the day after I got it and have not thought about it that much. Whatever. We talked about this recently. I continue to say that that's the canonical color for the Mac OS menu bar is like white or off white, but I'm running a black menu bar now, so I can't see the notch. And hey, it's working okay.
There you go.
Battery life on that thing is insane. Have we had this exact conversation?
We have not talked about this at all.
The battery life on that thing is ludicrous.
Is it like an iPad, basically?
Basically, yes. I turned it on at 100% and used it for like 20 minutes to do something and then put it to sleep. Came back and opened it 3 or 4 days later, and I want to say it was still in the 90s.
Wow, that's really nice.
Or maybe 87 after like 3 days.
That's amazing.
It's a lot. It's fine. It just lasts, man. It's crazy.
I don't know how it's happened, but at some point in the last, 5 years, Apple's gotten really good at battery life.
Yeah.
Like I got a new watch after Christmas when they were on sale, and I charge it every other day, basically.
Wow. No kidding. I didn't know there were Apple Watches that could last a day at this point. Like the magical lasting into a second day, I feel like it's the inflection point there.
It's 18 hours, and that's with the screen always on. If you turn the screen off, it'll last longer. It's without I got the cellular one, but I haven't turned cellular on. But yeah, no, it has been very pleasant.
Man.
Yeah.
If I was still leaving the house, I would have gotten one of those Series 7s.
I literally got it just so I don't miss notifications sitting at my desk, because everything else the notifications are unreliable and bad.
Yep. I hear you. All right. Well, from good Apple products to questionable ones.
Ooh.
The Cat's Meow asks a question. We ordered new iMacs for my job, and the wireless mice still have the charging port on the bottom of the mouse. This makes the mouse unusable when it needs to charge. Why haven't those engineers been fired yet?
Look, that design is old enough that those engineers are dead now.
Also, do you think that was a choice made by engineers or by like designers? Like, did that come out of a technical discipline or an aesthetic one?
Look, the first thing anybody who uses a Mac should do is replace the mouse with the Magic Trackpad. Delightful product. The Magic Mouse, terrible product.
Is I assume the Magic Trackpad is just a giant version of what's in the MacBooks?
It's just a big old flat trackpad. Yeah.
I could see the appeal.
It's like there's a hump on the back that holds the 2 AA batteries that make it work.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've seen that thing. I mean, there's still a precision to a mouse that you don't quite get with even those very good touchpads.
I think look, the problem with the Magic Mouse is it's not ergonomically compatible with human hands.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying you should use the Apple mouse.
It's bad. The space for the swiping isn't big enough for the swiping that you need to do to make the Mac OS stuff work right. Like, it's just a terrible product. They should have stopped selling it years ago. Get a good mouse. That's my advice.
I generally am being fairly flip when I say Steve Jobs would never have allowed this, but also I think that's true, right? Like, how did this ship? Why would they do that?
Nope. Steve Jobs doesn't know how to use it. He's bad. He was bad at mice. Like, he liked the puck mouse that shipped with the iMacs.
That's right.
There's a long history of Apple making fucking terrible mice. Maybe the last good mouse they made is like the System 7 era Macs that had the bulbous round back and one giant button. So no right mouse button. That maybe was the last good one. Trackpads are really good. That's the TLDR. Their trackpads are great. Their mice are terrible.
I haven't thought about this in like 20 years, but you just reminded me how long Apple was a holdout on one button mice.
Oh yeah, for 2 decades.
God, that's right. They were so stubborn about not adding a second mouse button.
They never added a second mouse button. They added, if you want to right click with the Magic Mouse, you put 2 fingers on it and click instead of 1 finger on it and clicking.
Nope. I like buttons.
But having a right mouse button turns out really useful.
Yeah. Gosh, how about a couple more? Oh, I wanted to read this one from Devin MM. I hope I'm saying that right. Devin Millimeter?
I always thought of that in my head as Devin.
Oh, that checks out. As someone who just added a 4th monitor to my workstation, I got to thinking, do you wish you had more monitors? How much is too much for you?
Wow. 4 monitors is a lot.
That's kind of a lot. I think Vinny's got 4 monitors actually at this point.
So I have 3 monitors on my desk, but they're hooked up to 2 different computers.
Yeah, that's kind of a different use case when you're running a streaming setup. Like that's not. I think for the purposes of the thought experiment, I think we're talking about monitors on one PC.
So I always used to do. For a while I did 3 monitors with like one in the middle, a big one in the middle, and then 2 smaller ones on the side in portrait. And it turns out looking left and right all day for me is bad for my neck. So I switched to just doing 2, and I do a low and a high, and that turns out is fine.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
I think 2 is the right number for me.
Yeah.
I think
do you do like centered in front of you, or are you like always a little left and always a little right?
I like having a main monitor and a side monitor.
Yeah,
like
that's my feeling too.
The main monitor is the thing I'm doing the work on.
Mm-hmm.
The side monitor is for just like having Discord or my inbox up. The thing that I glance. So side monitor is for things that you glance at off and on.
Yeah,
main monitor is for the thing that demands your attention.
So here's my question: if you're like writing some code or working on a script or something, and you have reference material up, do you put the reference material like on the left half of the main monitor, or do you put it on the secondary monitor?
Like the reference material goes on the second monitor, the terminal window stays on the main monitor.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, which is a good reason to get acquainted with Shift.
It's Windows left and Windows right.
Yes, it is Windows. Yes, so it's Shift Win left and right.
Whoa. I didn't realize Shift moves it to the top and the bottom monitor.
Oh yeah. Shift with arrow keys will also like snap it to sides of the screen now.
Oh, see, yeah. I just do Windows and the arrow keys to move it from left and right side of the screen.
Oh yeah. So Shift Windows left and right will move it to other monitors very quickly.
Oh, that's a trip.
It's fantastic. Also, this reminds me, there's a question that we have to read that I was about to forget about.
Oh, okay.
Like it is in fact like I did preparation for this.
Ooh.
I think it is the most important question in this entire episode.
It's good we saved it for the very end when no one's listening.
It's from Suspicious Link. Well, hey, the people with determination and grit and endurance are about to receive their reward.
We're rewarding the heroes of the podcast who listen to the very, very end when we put the funny thing.
Oh, it's not funny.
No, I'm saying after all the Patreon thank yous.
This is dead serious.
Yes.
Oh, now I get to find out if this new microphone picks up guinea pig weaking
I heard
or
pig
not.
Weaking.
Oh, you hear it
ever so slightly.
Okay, I guess the answer is yes. All right, this is from Suspicious Link. Today I learned F5 in Notepad spits out a timestamp.
Wait, what?
That was exactly my reaction. Open Notepad and hit F5 and have your mind fucking blown.
Fuck me sideways.
Can you believe it?
Holy shit. I'm just doing nothing but timestamps all day long.
Like, to be clear, there are no seconds. I kind of wish it had seconds, but look.
Mine has seconds.
Wait, yours does? Oh, whoa, I'm looking at the example they put in their question. Maybe I should check the actual.
Wait. No, it doesn't. No,
it doesn't.
No.
Okay,
Never mind.
yes,
Mine was just jamming in because I was hammering F5 so fast I couldn't tell where the date ended and the time began.
So 7:01 p.m. 3/3/2022 is the way this looks right now.
This is freaking incredible.
But still, yes.
Do other buttons do other things?
Holy effing F.
F6 does nothing. Why F5, Brad?
I don't know. It's kind of random, but like, okay, well, I guess I'll read the whole rest of the email, but I have an experiment to do.
Okay.
Email, question, whatever. Okay, yeah, so F5 in Notepad spits out a timestamp. Do you have 1 or 2 button shortcuts in Windows and Linux apps that save you a bunch of time? Another cool freebie. On the OS X command line, Control A goes to the beginning of the prompt and Control E goes to the end. That's a handy one too.
I use Control and the arrow keys to space through words.
Yes,
a ton.
Yes. Control arrow keys will move your cursor from word to word rather than character to character.
Yep, I use Windows P a lot to change the monitor layout.
Mm-hmm.
We talked earlier today about Control Shift V to paste without formatting, which works in almost everything.
Yeah. That's a good one. You know what? I've known about this, but I just started using it for real this week. Windows V.
What's Windows? Oh, is that the like history for the clipboard?
It brings up it brings up the clipboard history, exactly that. So if your cursor is in a field, it'll pop it up right there, and you can actually just pick from the clipboard history right into the field you were trying to type into.
That's fabulous.
Yeah. If your cursor is not in like an app where you can enter something, it'll just pop it up, I think, in the notification area. But still, like digging stuff 8 copies ago out of your clipboard history. Pretty useful.
Do you know about Windows plus period or Windows period?
Should I try it right now?
Yeah, you can.
Is it going to break this recording?
No, it's the emoji picker.
Wow, that's useful.
So I used to use this.
Wait, hang on. Does this have like all the Unicode stuff? Holy shit.
Oh yeah, dude, it has everything. It even has like the weird, like the katakanji emoji things in there.
Oh, yeah. So, wow. Does this mean I don't have to go Google the word cliche every time I want to write cliche and just copy the little E with the accent?
You can copy the accent. The one thing that bums me out is it used to have the shrug.
Huh.
Like the
ASCII shrug?
The ASCII shrug.
Oh, I love that thing.
And it's gone now.
Man, I literally typed a Greek letter into a piece of content today. I could have just used this thing instead of going to Google for it.
Yeah, it's the bomb.
That's
and
great.
you can search too. So you can type in like shrug and it takes you right to the right emoji you want.
That's a good one. All right. Oh, another quick one. Window D.
Yeah, I feel like I know what I
minimizes everything.
God. Okay, that was scary. I thought my recording stopped.
Literally everything you have open so you can just get to your desktop. All right. Here's the prep work I did.
Yeah.
Fucking F5 to make a timestamp in Notepad. I have loaded up the 486 core on the Mister where I have a Windows 3.11 for workgroups install.
What? Oh my God. How long has this been in here?
I need to know.
Oh, I'm so excited.
This can't be the first version of Notepad. I assume Notepad existed probably in Windows 1.0 for all I know. That would be my assumption. Okay. I have launched Notepad. Are you ready?
Yeah. I've never been more ready.
It fucking did it.
What?
It did it.
Take a screenshot.
Holy shit. Now I have show art. What?
Windows Notepad debuted in 1983 to commercialize the computer mouse in MS-DOS.
Dude, this has been in there since the early 90s.
That's amazing. In 1983, it was called Multi-Tool Notepad for DOS.
Oh, man. I can't believe this.
Features.
I am so, scandalized? I don't know what the word is here.
I am shocked.
This incredible feature has just been lurking under the surface for decades now.
Who knew?
Unknown.
Do you know about Control K, right? I feel like we talked about that at some point in the past.
Yes, you link things.
It's the linking one, the hyperlink.
That seems to work in most WYSIWYG editors these days.
Almost all.
Yeah. Keyboard shortcuts are great, are fantastic.
People should send us their best keyboard shortcuts. Maybe we'll make a thread in this week's episode channel.
I've got a lot that I like. I enjoy them. Shortcuts, doing things faster.
Yeah.
It's good. There were a couple others I was planning to take, but I don't think there's anywhere to go from there, honestly.
That's a pretty good, that one was a pretty good question. I thought.
I genuinely was not expecting that to work in old Windows. That's amazing.
I'm like, my entire world is upended, Brad. I wasn't aware that Notepad had features.
I know, right? Well, hey, it's got dark mode now.
I'm going to go and tell you, I look at, it has tabs too.
What?
Wait.
Hang on.
No, it doesn't. No. I was
gonna say if they gave Notepad tabs but not File Explorer, why the fuck does File Explorer not have tabs?
Didn't it used to have tabs?
They started. I looked this up recently. They started working on that in a preview version of Windows that I think rolled out to some testers, but then they ultimately canceled the feature. Why would you not put? Why would you, Finder has had that for how a decade?
Something like that. Yeah.
Why would you not put tabs in? There are times when I have 8 File Explorer windows open. It's a nightmare.
Here's my question, and I say this having not really spent any time looking at this at all. But why do I not have dark mode in Notepad++?
Oh, well, it's got very extensive theme support, so I think they probably just want you to find
it?
Oh, yeah, dude. Are you kidding?
Oh, I didn't know there were themes.
Have you not gone through Notepad++ themes?
Look, man, there are so many menu settings in Notepad++ that I've never even engaged with.
You are not wrong. It is a pretty busy application.
There's a button. I think this is it's a functionless, but it looks like an old Macromedia Flash logo from before Adobe bought them.
I'm trying to tell.
A lot.
Yes, you're right. I'm sitting here trying to tell you which theme I use in Notepad++, and I can't actually find the theme menu to tell you.
Yeah, you said that's a thing you could do.
Sorry. Wait. Is it no, it's not the style configurator. it's
no, that style configurator lets you choose which their markup for languages.
Markup for different languages. Shortcut mapper. I know it's here somewhere. I think I am, let's see,
I can't even find settings. Tools. Nope. Settings. There we go. Style configurator. Oh no, that's the thing you just said.
Plastic code mod is the theme I'm using.
Here we go. Enabled dark mode. Problem solved.
Oh, I didn't know it did have. Well, okay, there you go.
Wow, that is an ugly dark mode.
Learning new things every day.
I'm not happy with this dark mode.
All right. Well, hey, let's end this podcast and you can go make your own theme.
I don't think that's going to happen realistically, but okay.
All right.
This is the part of the podcast where we tell people how to submit questions that they would like to have turned into answers by us, the question and answer experts.
That's right.
You can do that by sending an email to techpod@content.town. That's techpod@content.town. Or alternately, you can hop in the Discord, go to the channel named Questions Seeking Answers, post a question. It will disappear into the ether a short period of time after you post it. And then Brad and I will go through there and find the questions we deem worthy or silly and answer them.
Yeah. Thanks to everybody who sends questions. We always have more than we can answer.
Yes, definitely. There were a bunch of really good questions this month. It was hard to pick.
Cake batter. I saw your rover. Don't think I didn't.
Yeah, we had an extended conversation. It was one of the fake the not cold opens we did at the beginning of the show.
That's right.
But yeah, so and as always, Brad and Will Made a Tech Pod is a 100% listener supported show. You can find out more about how to support the show by going to patreon.com/techpod. Again, that is patreon.com/techpod, where for as little as $2 American a month, you can come in and you can join the Discord community. You can for $5 a month, you can get access to our monthly patron episode where we talk about other things like what we're working on. And like this last week, we just kind of had a chat. It was really nice.
Yeah. Sometimes it's nice to just have a conversation.
Yeah. I feel like I can't remember. Did we talk about Elden Ring on that one a little bit or no?
I don't think so.
Everywhere I go, people are talking about Elden Ring this week, and
Yeah.
I'm thinking about Elden Ring a lot, and I kind of want to talk about Elden Ring more. But
that is for good reason. It's very good. I've actually fallen back into Horizon, believe it or not.
Wow.
I was super all in on Elden Ring, and then I wanted to play one more story mission in Horizon to have something new to say about it on the podcast this week.
Yeah.
And that story mission turned out to be the one where they give you the full info dump on literally everything.
Oh, that's nice.
And they've kind of got their hooks in me now where I want to that I'm not going to spoil it. That game goes in some weird sci-fi directions that I was extremely not expecting.
It is the sci-fi nature of that game is the thing that is most interesting to me about it.
You bounced off that first game, right? Do you know anything about the story of that game? Because the premise of that game, I think you would be way into.
I mean, I know that the robots, there was a apocalypse and that the machines, it went bad. And then there's sentient machine dinosaurs around and you have to kill them with combat that I found frustrating and not fun.
Do you know the purpose of the robot dinosaurs though?
No.
Okay. Well then, okay. Wow. You don't know anything about the cool stuff that you would.
2 hours into that game, maybe.
All the cool stuff is in the back, third.
Yeah.
Or even fourth of that game.
I've been bouncing back and forth between 2018 God of War, which just came out on PC a few months ago. And I didn't really play it on the PS4. And now going back and forth between that and Elden Ring. And it turns out playing Elden Ring has made me much better at God of War, but the controls are just different enough to make it really, really brain challenging when I switch back and forth between playing one and the other.
Yes.
I'm almost done with God of War, though. That game is amazing.
Horizon and Elden Ring both having mounts, I can tell you. Those buttons don't do the same things.
I learned yesterday that you can dismount the horse. I think it was from actually listening to your other podcast.
Yeah, click the right or left stick. Click left stick to jump off.
I've been switching back to the ring.
Oh no.
Hitting the the whistle, whatever. Yeah.
Oh man, you just got to leap right off that thing into battle.
Leaping off of it is much better.
Uh-huh.
I got a really sick turtle shield last night.
Wow.
It's like a huge turtle shell.
Wow.
It's cool. Man. It has barrier on it.
Man, I should play more Elden Ring.
And I can get up there and it's 100% block. So I take the big hit and then I just wail on them. It's boom, 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 boom. It's very good. It's the first time I've ever played one of these games without being a total cheese lord. So very satisfying. But anyway, if you would like to join the TechPod community where every channel is about Elden Ring right now, it seems like you can by going to patreon.com/techpod. Thanks everybody for supporting the show and listening to our nonsense every week. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And there's a new episode of the FossPod out this week.
Yes.
This is the first one that doesn't show up in this feed. So
that's right.
If you want FossPod in your life, you got to go to fosspod.content.town and download it over there. Probably should have put that at the start of the show too.
The FossPod manifesto.
Yes. We talk about why we think it's a good idea to have the open sources. See you next week, Mr. Shoemaker.
We also talked about your time in a penguin suit.
Look, there's a picture of the penguin suit.
Yes. By that, I mean, we also talked about our own histories with open source stuff over the years.
Yeah. And also, like, we really got into like the things that are happening in the consumer open source space that make it exciting right now, I think, which is the thing we've kind of hinted at before, but we actually kind of broke it down this time.
Yeah. We are looking forward to going deeper on some future episodes of that show, though.
Yeah. Next, it's time for another interview, I think.
Yes. We're in the process of getting help with the production end of the show. So
which will help a ton.
Hoping to do more interview and deep dive type stuff, hands-on stuff, trip reports.
Yep.
Etc.
We got a lot of good stuff in the hopper.
Yeah.
So anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. Have a good week. We'll see you next time on Brad and Will Made a Tech Pod. Bye.